sea starts to glow. Where are we going? Just come along and see. Friends will solve the mystery. In far-off lands we'll lend a hand. We'll be there with the magic key. It's an adventure, having fun with the magic key.
Today, we're talking about the places where stories happen. For instance, your story could take place in a deep, dark forest. Or you could have an adventure in outer space. Your story could even happen in an ordinary old house, like this. The setting you choose will make a difference to what happens in the story. You didn't actually wear this on stage, did you, Dad?
People said I was a very good banana.
Perfect casting.
What's these?
They're costumes for a show we did ages ago.
What was it about?
Let me think.
There were these 3 pieces of fruit.
Yes, but what happened to them?
Sorry, Kipper. I can't remember.
Chip, can you make up a story for me about the fruit? I'll do it. I'm good at making up stories.
No, I'm doing it. Once upon a time, there were 3 pieces of fruit, and they lived in a fridge. You can't keep bananas in a fridge. OK, they lived in a fruit bowl.
Boring.
All right then. A tropical island in the sun.
Oh, yes, that's a great place to put fruit.
I can think of some good settings for stories too. For example, this could be a jungle. You can have all sorts of adventures in a jungle. Or this tree could be the place where pirates have buried their treasure. Yo-ho-ho! Now, what could my kennel be? It could be a magical cave for a story about some trolls. But even if it's just a kennel, it's still a good setting for a story about a dog going to sleep.
Come on, Chip, tell me the fruit story.
Well, once upon a time, there were 3 fruits. A banana, a pineapple, and an orange. And they lived on a tropical island in the sun.
Anyone want to play football? Shush, Biff. Chip is making up a story.
One morning, they were having breakfast
With an alien in a spaceship. This story is about a tropical island, not space.
They were having breakfast when
they met an acrobat. No, we're not at the circus.
The fruit were having breakfast when
they were chased by a shark.
Oh no, not a shark!
Biff, this story doesn't happen underwater.
Why are you putting the wrong things in my story?
I wish she wouldn't. I'm scared of sharks. Uh-oh, where are we off to this time?
This must be a magical place.
Yes, I can't usually breathe underwater. What's that? Hello.
Hi, this is fun.
No, it's not.
It's your fault. Why did you have to bring us here of all places?
They were chased by a shark.
Really?
Yes, really! Ah! We've got to get out of here! run into Chip's story. Where is Chip? He's not here. And neither's Floppy. Wrong place you put me in too. I belong not water under. It's the alien. Wow. Earthchild, send Anoop now home. Me? Alien, your idea. Please, to Planet Oop. Steady, go, ready, hurry up. But how?
I smell buried treasure.
You look as if you belong in a circus.
It is true. Ah, my beloved circus. Why am I stuck here? It is a tragedy, a disaster.
When I was making up a story for Kipper, Biff put you all in the wrong setting.
Where is this beef?
Well, I don't know exactly.
We must find her. She must send us all home now.
Oh, yes.
Can I just see about this treasure first?
We've got to find Chip and Floppy. I hope they're all right. Oh, please tell me what it's like on Planet Oop. Pinky and orange. Only Oopleg-Loopless. Oopleg-Loop. Oh, what's it, eh? Anoop's Oopleg-Loopless. Spotty, soft and loopy. I see Anoop sitting on Oopleg-Loopless singing. Sky green. Shine moon every day. Anoop want home to be. Goodbye. That's strange. Come on, Kipper. We've got to find the others. What about the shark? We'll have to risk it. You and Teddy swim close to me.
There's something here. I just know it.
I am Fernando Finelli of the Flying Trapeze. I will fly back to the circus.
But it's too dangerous out there.
Up, up, and away! And you, I suppose, are beef. You brought me here. You must send me back.
I would if I could. What's it like being in the circus?
The big top is full of color and music. There are red and blue flags all around the circus ring. High above the crowds is my flying trapeze. I can see myself now, swinging backwards and forwards, higher and higher. Goodbye!
Fernando's gone. Anoop went away like that too. You're right, Kipper. And Anoop and Fernando were imagining their home. That's what got them back there. Come on then, help us do the same. Okay. Tell us what it's like on your tropical island. Hot.
Very hot.
Yes, but what does it look like? You've got to see it in your imagination.
Well, there's a very nice beach.
And palm trees. And what else is on the beach? Sun lounges. A big parasol.
Oh yes, I can see us now. Sunbathing in our sun hats. It's really hot.
They did it! Phew! Now everyone's back in their proper setting.
I've got it. It's definitely bone-shaped. Oh, I can't eat that.
Oh no! Hey! The key's glowing!
We're going!
Phew! Just in time!
The banana, the orange and the pineapple were all having breakfast when there was a knock on the door.
It was their friend, Bunch of Grapes. Come and listen to our fruit story. Where did that teeny old bottle come from, Biff? Actually, it was found at the bottom of the sea.
After a lot of digging, which was a total waste of time.
Seas and bottles don't belong in our fruit story. Don't worry, Kipper. I'll never mix things up like that again. I promise. Once upon a time, there were a group of children who went on an amazing journey. First, they went on a train. To the seaside! They went on a boat trip, but unfortunately, the boat sank in a terrible storm. Help! Shipwreck! Teddy overboard! And the children were washed up on a strange island where dinosaurs lived. The children were frightened, so
They ran into a cave. Where they found a spaceship. The spaceship took off. And landed
on the planet Oop! Weep, beep, 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 weep, beep, beep, weep, beep, beep, weep, beep, 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 beep. Then the spaceship took them, Teddy's turn now, all the way home.
The end.
The end.
End. The end.
When you ask a question, then it's time to go off on an adventure as the key starts to glow. We'll play around the planets, we'll sail the seven seas. With Floppy, Kipper, Biff and Chip, we'll go with the magic key. With Wolf and Wilma and their friends, we'll solve the mystery. It's an adventure, having fun with the magic key.
To help make the most of these programs, teachers can get a pack containing over 20 photocopyable activity sheets with clear program links and 2 colourful posters based on the Magic Key characters. To buy the pack or get more information, telephone BBC Educational Publishing between 8 a.m. and 6 p.m. Monday to Friday on 08701 288 289. Calls are charged at the national rate. Another tale from the Bard now on BBC Two, Animated Shakespeare. The BBC Primary Catalogue 2001 to 2002 gives details of television, radio, websites and resources for the whole year. It's available free to schools by phoning 08700 100 321. Time for a tune now on BBC Two. It's the Songcatcher.
choo-choo, but he couldn't choo-choo. So the story goes, instead of saying choo-choo, all he said was achoo, because he had a cold in his nose. Choo, 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 choo.
It's a song.
A song about a train.
The song catcher is the keeper of all the songs. She says
That if you learn a song, then it will last forever. Come on. All aboard!
What are you doing, Jack?
Being a train.
Once there was a choo-choo, but he couldn't choo-choo. So the story goes, instead of saying choo-choo, all he said was achoo, because he had a cold in his nose. Choo, 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 choo. All aboard! You be a train too.
Join in the song. Here we go.
Once there was a choo-choo, but he couldn't choo-choo. So the story goes, instead of saying choo-choo, all he said was achoo, because he had a cold in his nose. Choo, 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 choo.
All aboard! Great! Now you know the words to our song.
And the actions. Jack, look.
It's the song. Ooh.
Look! Hey! Song catcher!
Song catcher, look.
Daisy and Jack, look inside and you will find different words of every kind. Listen carefully and it won't be long till you can add them to your song.
Listen carefully and it won't be long.
Till we can add them to our song.
Choo, 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 choo. Choo, 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 choo.
Come on. Join in, getting faster. Woo woo!
And now get slower.
Now we can add those words to the song. Here we go. The train's up to speed. Here we go. Once there was a choo-choo, but he couldn't choo-choo.
So the story goes. Instead of saying choo choo, all he said was achoo, because he had a cold in his nose. Ah, 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 choo choo.
All aboard! Ha-ha! We've added those words.
Look, Jack!
Hey!
Songcatcher, look!
Daisy and Jack, look inside and you will find words are sounds of every kind. Listen carefully, what's right, what's wrong. Then add your sounds to the song.
Look inside and we will find
Words are sounds of every kind.
Come inside and listen to our train sounds. I'm looking for a train sound that I can play faster and slower. Scraping the sand blocks up and down makes a train sound. It's good for getting faster and slower. Moving the beads on the capacitor round and round makes a great train sound. I can play it slowly, but I can't play it fast. But if I shake it, I can play it fast and slow. And I'm looking for a good sound for the hissing steam when the train stops.
Train's up to speed! And now the train's slowing down again.
And stopping.
So now we've added our sounds to the song.
Great! Hey! Hey, look! Way! Hey, come on!
Songcatcher!
Songcatcher, look!
Daisy and Jack, listen to the sounds of the train getting faster. Listen to the sounds of the train getting slower. Look inside and listen to the music of the song.
Come on! Open up!
And listen to the music of the song.
That was great!
So now we have our music for the song.
Yes! Look! Wow! Terrific! Songcatcher!
Songcatcher! Songcatcher, look!
Everything's happening!
Daisy and Jack, here is your song. Music to listen to, sounds to play, words to say, and something to sing.
We've done it! Come on, it's time to sing.
Look, Daisy.
Catch this song and sing along, then it will last forever.
Once there was a choo-choo, but he couldn't choo-choo. So the story goes. Instead of saying choo-choo, all he said was achoo, because he had a cold in his nose.
Hey, that was terrific.
Oh, I can't wait until the next song. I wonder what it's going to be.
Songcatcher, 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 song for me. Songcatcher, 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 song for me. Songcatcher, 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 songcatcher.
Viewers might like to know that due to the Queen's Golden Jubilee, schools programmes will not be transmitting between the 3rd and the 7th of June. For more information, go to BBCi at bbc.co.uk/schools/what's on. Back to today on BBC Two, and it's time for Watch, where we find out all about Friends.
My name's Jay Booth. I go to St Luke's School. We're doing a project about friendship. Come and meet my class. There's lots of different types of friends, and that's what this program's all about. That's Rebecca with Naomi. That's Bill working with Ellen. And that's Alvin. That's me working with Oliver. Look at that. That's Fatima, Jana and Nazarene. That's some of the people in my class, and you'll see more of them later. Part 1. Being a good friend. How to look after your friends. Play games, help them to make them happy, share with them, be kind to them, spend time with them, help them to skip, give them your toys, help them to feel better when they're ill.
Invite my friend when for lunch. Draw my friend a picture. Give my friend a tissue when they are crying.
A good friend is someone who helps you when you're feeling sad. good friend is someone who you like playing with. A good friend is someone who never hurts people. Someone who you can chat with. A good friend is kind. Someone that looks after me when I'm ill. They can come and play and have tea round yours. Sometimes I like playing it with my friends. A good friend is someone you can trust. How do you write from? The or ma.
I never meant to lie.
Part 2. Playing with your friends. My name is Daisy and my best friends are Rebecca and Naomi. My name's Naomi and my best friends are Daisy and Rebecca. Oh, that's about colour. Daisy, do you mind that's the colour of your hair? What? That. What I like about Naomi is that she's a kind and helpful girl. Nice to play with. She's got a nice smile. She's sensible. I can trust her. She's always smiling and happy. Sometimes two of us play together, sometimes all three of us. I would to get a few across a kangaroo and a sheep. Don't know. A woolly jumper. And my friends with Rebecca and she's quite new. I think we made friends on the first day, didn't we? Yeah. It's much better to have friends so you have someone to actually play with and talk to. I like the games that I play with Naomi and Rebecca. I like the games that I play with Daisy. If I'm very lonely, I don't have to have both of them. I can just have one of them. We play puppies, kittens, just walk around. Naomi and Rebecca are really kind to me. Can someone tell me how to spell when? I've completely forgotten. Sorry about my W. Oh yeah. These have written loads of words. Completely forgotten. Whoa. Wow, that was horrible. I know how you can make your friends happy. Spell friends properly. Make funny jokes when we're in the house and they only kept on making me laugh. Do you know what? On yesterday at the party, a dog ate my pizza. I wanted him to do this. Sometimes we work together and sometimes we give each other pictures. No, I could draw Naomi and come round to my helping me make a daisy chain. Sometimes all three of us want to play together. Sometimes two of us and sometimes we want to just play on our own. And think about things. Part 3. Making new friends. My name's Alvin and I'm making friends with Luke. That's my mum and that's me.
Yeah, then where am I?
I've tried lots of ways to make friends with Luke. Letting him go on the computer before I have a go. And inviting him to my house and being with him for a long time. Then he gets to be my friend. I wanted to be his friend and I found it really tricky, so does he. Because it's hard to make friends. And when you try to make friends, sometimes you can't make friends. When I first came to school, loads of children were looking at mine and they were asking what happened, and I didn't want to tell because I was quite scared. With Luke, I said, please can I be one of your friends? And I tried hard to be his friends, and then he said, have you made friends with me? And I said, yes I have.
I like being friends with Alvin because he always plays with me all the time. I like Alvin coming to my party. I tickle my friends.
He shows me that he likes playing with me, and I have more fun with him. He is my best friend, and nearly all the time I choose him. If we're trying to make friends in the playground, it's not a good idea to hurt them, neither chase them. Fighting isn't a good idea, and that's why I don't choose to play fighting with Luke. I never choose that game. It's a horrible game. I like Luke because he plays with me a lot. Don't you?
I do you.
And I'm doing you.
You're my friend.
I think we need friends actually, because sometimes you don't want to play on your own. Sometimes you'll want to play with someone else. Part 4. Breaking up and making up. My name is Fajana and I have friends Shahara, Fatima and Nazreen. My name is Fatima. My best friends are Fajana, Shahara, Nazreen and Daisy. I play with them, we play kittens, sometimes wedding games, sometimes boys chases us. Shahara called Fatima to come, and I said Fatima, Shahara called me, she didn't want to come. Because I was playing with Daisy and I didn't want her to go. Then I said no, I don't want to come, I want to play with Daisy. And before that, it ended up. She came to talk to me, and I said maybe at lunchtime I'll play with you. And then she was a little bit upset and I was upset. We broke up. And before that, I want to be Fatima friend, but Shahara I think so. She's not. She's friend. Shahara said if she is not Fatima friend, then I can be she's friend too. So I just might go play with Daisy and Nazreen. Sometimes we break up, and sometimes we make up. And we went to the classroom and it was hockey, and then I was her partner, and we came out and played school again, and we were repeating, and we suddenly got friends. We have to choose a partner. I haven't got a partner, Fatima choose me to be a partner. Then we are friends. Now we feel nice. Now feeling kind, and now we feel very happy. And getting friends, and don't fall out never again.
I am king of my castle.
Part 5. Best friends. My name's Bill and my best friend's Owen. When I say my best friend's Bill, we've been friends for nearly 7 years. We met when Owen was 2 days old and I was not 2 days. We met when we were still at hospital. When we started school in Mrs. Lowndes, that's when we started getting friends with each other.
Oh, you're the best friend.
I like him because he can do funny things, like making one of my toys talk and telling me jokes. What lies on the ground 100 feet in the air? I don't know. A dead centipede. We help each other do our work. I help Owen with writing. Good friends do play with you, laugh, share visit, paint pictures for you, be sympathetic, be kind, make you happy.
That's very good.
Some spellings are wrong, but it's okay. We sometimes have arguments. I'm sorry I ate all your honey. If we have 5 sweeties, we might argue over who has 2 and who has 3. I was only hungry. I'd give Owen 3 because he eats a bit more than me. Or we could cut one in half and then we'll both have the same amount. I've still got a spare bit left. Let's share it. Sometimes we argue about what we're going to play. We could play a quick game of what he wants to play and then what I want to play. If we have an argument or no one's upset me, I wouldn't feel so good. It's sad. I think Bill's the best at making up because he makes up a lot of the time. Well, more than I do. Anyway. Well, it's so we can get over the argument quickly. Just try and read my writing. From Bill to Owen. It's a necklace. It's a bit thick. Thank you for my bracelet. Thank you for my necklace. Our class has made up a friendship code. Share your friend and let other people play with them. Play kindly with new friends and say positive things. Friends need time apart as well as time together. It's good to have a best friend, but sometimes it's fine to have nobody special. Friendships change, and you can add new people to your group. Even best friends disagree, but it's important to find ways of making up.
Watch Our Friends. Will be back in 2 weeks' time at the same time, 10 to 11, here on BBC Two. Now on BBC Two, another tale from Europe, not for the squeamish, the Pied Piper of Hamelin.
The Weser is in the north of Germany, and as it flows along towards the North Sea, it passes through the town of Hameln. In many ways, Hameln looks an ordinary enough place. It's a typical little German town with a typical German barrel organ to keep the shoppers in the precinct happy. But only in Hameln do the bakers make cakes like this. What's he making? I wonder if you can work it out. It's a rat. Ooh. With whiskers. And not just one rat, hundreds of them. Fancy a rat for tea? So why are they baking rat cakes anyway? It's because at Hameln, several hundred years ago, something happened that the inhabitants were never to forget. It wasn't just to do with rats. It was about this man, a man playing a pipe. Another big clue. Some of you will have guessed who he is. It's the Pied Piper of Hameln. For once a week in the summer, these strange events are acted out as a play. The performers who act in the play are ordinary people, like the Nachtigall family. Herr Nachtigall is a policeman and often has to work on Sundays, so he doesn't take part. But the rest of the family all act in the play.
Ich esse lieber die Wurst. Na Jörn, willst du denn noch weiter beim Rattenfinger?
Bjorn, their youngest, plays the part of one of the rats, though he thinks he's getting a bit big for the costumes now. The play is performed on Sunday mornings. Before they leave, they have a good, solid German breakfast. And then it's time to go and get dressed up in their costumes.
Tschüss.
Mach mal deine Haare hoch.
The play starts at midday and there is always a good crowd watching. It's a very popular occasion.
Was zahlt ihr mir für einen Lohn?
Did you understand that? I didn't. But don't worry, because I've got the whole story here in English, so we won't miss a thing. The Pied Piper. Hamelin Town's in Brunswick, by famous Hanover City. The river Weser, deep and wide, washes its wall on the southern side, a pleasanter spot you never spied. But when begins my ditty, almost 500 years ago, to see the townsfolk suffer so from vermin was a pity. Rats! They fought the dogs and killed the cats and bit the babies in the cradles and ate the cheeses out of the vats and licked the soup from the cook's own ladles, split open the kegs of salted sprats, made nests inside men's Sunday hats, and even spoiled the women's chats by drowning their speaking with shrieking and squeaking in 50 different sharps and flats. At last the people in a body to the town hall came flocking. "'Tis clear," cried they, "our mayors are noddy, and as for our corporation, shocking!" "Rouse up, sirs, give your brains a racking to find the remedy we're lacking, or sure as fate we'll send you packing!" At this the mayor and corporation quaked with a mighty consternation. An hour they sat in council. At length the mayor broke silence. "It's easy to bid one rack one's brain. I'm sure my poor head aches again. I've scratched it so and all in vain. Oh, for a trap, a trap, a trap!" Just as he said this, what should hap at the chamber door but a gentle tap? "Come in," the mayor cried, looking bigger. And in did come the strangest figure. His strange apparel from heel to head was half of yellow and half of red, and he himself was tall and thin, with sharp blue eyes, each like a pin. He advanced to the council table, and, "Please, your honours," said he, I'm able, by means of a secret charm, to draw all creatures living beneath the sun that creep or swim or fly or run after me, so as you never saw. And I chiefly use my charm on creatures that do people harm, the mole and toad and newt and viper. And people call me the Pied Piper. In Tartary, I freed the Cham last June from his huge swarms of gnats. I eased in Asia the Nizam of a monstrous brood of vampire bats. And as for what your brain bewilders, if I can rid your town of rats, will you give me 1,000 guilders? 50,000 was the exclamation of the astonished mayor and corporation. Into the street the piper stepped, smiling first a little smile, as if he knew what magic slept in his quiet pipe the while. And ere 3 shrill notes the pipe had uttered, you heard as if an army muttered. And the muttering grew to a grumbling, and the grumbling grew to a mighty rumbling, and out of the houses the rats came tumbling. From street to street he piped advancing, and step for step they followed, dancing. Until they came to the river Weser, wherein all plunged and perished. You should have heard the Hamelin people ringing the bells till they rocked the steeple. Then suddenly up popped a face. The piper was back in the marketplace. First, if you please, my 1,000 guilders. 1,000 guilders? The mayor looked blue. So did the corporation, too. To pay this sum to a wandering fellow with gypsy clothes of red and yellow? Beside, quoth the mayor, with a knowing wink, our business was done at the river's brink. We saw with our eyes the vermin sink, and what's dead can't come to life, I think. As for the guilders, what we spoke of them, as you very well know, was in joke. Besides, our losses have made us thrifty. 1,000 guilders! Come, take 50. The piper's face fell, and he cried, No trifling, I can't wait. Beside, those folks who put me in a passion may find me piped to a different fashion. How? Cried the mayor. Do you think I'll brook being worse treated than a cook? You threaten us, fellow. Do your worst. Blow your pipe there till you burst. Once more he stepped into the street, and to his lips again laid his long pipe of smooth, straight cane. There was a rustling that seemed like a bustling of merry crowd justling at pitching and hustling. Small feet were pattering, wooden shoes clattering, little hands clapping and little tongues chattering, and like fowls in a farmyard when barley is scattering, out came the children. The mayor was dumb, and the council stood as if they were changed into blocks of wood. But how the mayor was on the rack, and the council's bosom beat as the piper turned from the high street to where the Weser rolled its waters right in the way of their sons and daughters. However, he turned from south to west, and to Koppelberg Hill his steps addressed. Great was the joy in every breast. He never can cross the mighty top. He's forced to let the piping drop, and we shall see our children stop. When, lo, as they reached the mountain side, a wondrous portal opened wide, as if a cavern was suddenly hollowed, and the piper advanced, and the children followed, and when all were in to the very last, the door in the mountain side shut fast. Did I say all? No. One was lame and could not dance the whole of the way. And in after years, if you would blame his sadness, he was used to say, "It's dull in our town since my playmates left. I can't forget that I'm bereft of all the pleasant sights they see, which the piper also promised me. For he led us, he said, to a joyous land, joining the town and just at hand, where waters gushed and fruit trees grew, and flowers put forth a fairer hue, and everything was strange and new." Hamlin Towns in Brunswick, by famous Hanover City. The river Weser, deep and wide, washes its wall on the southern side. A pleasanter spot you never spied.
And there'll be another tale from Europe in 2 weeks' time here on BBC Two. Down to the coast now on BBC Two for landmarks.
This is the historic resort of Tenby in West Wales. Every year, the town attracts thousands of visitors, drawn by the wild beauty of this corner of the United Kingdom and the dramatic landscape of the Pembrokeshire Coast National Park. Tenby used to be a small fishing village, but now it's a bustling seaside resort. Today, the harbour is full of yachts and dinghies. The old fishing boats are now used for pleasure cruises. The Georgian houses have been turned into hotels. The local economy has changed, and there are signs everywhere that more people earn their living from the tourist industry. People still come here for the traditional bucket and spade holidays. But nowadays, they're on the lookout for new, exciting activities as well. Because this is an area of outstanding natural beauty, the land has been set aside as a national park. There are strict rules about the kind of activities and development that can take place here. Offshore too, the wild and natural beauty of the area is being protected. Around the island of Skoma, there's a marine conservation area, a special place where animals and plants are left undisturbed. 15 miles to the west of Tenby is the town of Milford Haven, another fishing village that's changed a great deal. Milford Haven is one of the finest natural harbours in the world. For generations, the people in this area have depended on the sea for their livelihood. Earlier this century, Milford Haven was among the largest fishing ports in the UK. Many families in the town had a connection with the industry. For every fisherman at sea, there were 4 jobs on the land. So when fishing declined, the whole town was affected. The main channel of the haven is 20 miles long and a mile wide. The water is deep enough for huge ships to sail far inland. Because of its location, the haven became attractive to a new industry: oil. Oil is shipped around the world in supertankers, and so the haven was an ideal location for the industry. 5 large oil refineries were built here on the banks of the Haven. Today, Milford Haven produces 1/4 of the UK's petrol products. With these tankers carrying so much oil, safety is of great importance. What happens if things go wrong?
Getting reports that a 147,000-ton tanker has run aground in South Wales, and it's said to be spilling oil.
In 1996, the oil tanker, the Sea Empress, was shipwrecked off the coast as she was sailing into the haven, and 72,000 tons of crude oil seeped into the sea. It created an environmental crisis. Many local people were worried that the wildlife and the fragile coastal environment would never recover, and that the tourists would stay away for good. Most of the oil was cleared from the beaches in a matter of weeks. And on the face of it, things seem to be back to normal. The Atlantic grey seals are doing well, and it's believed that the flocks of seabirds have recovered. But what's not so easy to find out are the long-term effects on this delicate environment. Tim Deere-Jones is a marine biologist who's investigating the effects of this disaster.
This area was very badly oiled during the initial oil spill of the Sea Empress, and what happened was that the oil killed lots of grazing animals such as limpets and winkles. And as a result, you've got this massive growth of seaweed which has taken place here. And the seaweed in the pools, the green weed, is shading out the bottom of the pools and blanketing out the environment and stopping other forms of seaweed and animals from getting in here and colonizing these pools. So basically, as an end result, you've got a reduction in species diversity and species numbers.
Even on a small beach like this one at Manorbier, the effect of oil damage can vary from one rock pool to another.
You can see, looking here, that you've actually got quite an interesting area of rock. There are great big fat limpets and barnacles and periwinkles on the rocks. You've got some of the brown seaweed, like the sort of stuff that we were looking at before, but these big limpets are capable of eating this and keeping it under control, so it's looking very poorly. In the pool itself, you've got a very wide species diversity. You have a snake slot anemone here. You've got ordinary anemones here. So this is actually the healthy environment, and although the growth was so strong back there, that was the unhealthy environment, showing very obvious signs of oil spill impact.
If the coastline is not clean, then there's damage of another kind: economic damage. Tourists simply will not come to a polluted area. They need to be confident that the beaches are clean and that it's safe to bathe in the sea. After the Sea Empress disaster, everyone connected with tourism in Pembrokeshire is even more aware of the importance of protecting the environment. These beaches have recovered well and are now among the cleanest in Britain. The clean environment is also important for another industry: fishing. Clean, unpolluted seawater is essential for the fishing grounds off the Pembrokeshire coast. In Milford Haven, the fishing industry is only just recovering from the oil spill. Some people thought that pollution from the Sea Empress would finally bring an end to an industry that was already struggling to survive. These days, only a few local trawlers sail from the harbour that was once home to a large fishing fleet. But things may finally be looking up for the fishing industry in Milford Haven as it moves into the computer age. The fish auction, where the catches are sold, has just gone electronic. Milford has become the first port in the UK to sell its fish on the internet. It's hoped that selling directly to buyers all over Europe will encourage more fishing boats to land their catches in Milford Haven.
Milford is a remote port. It's stuck out in the end of Wales, And what it means is that electronically we can bring in more buyers than the local buyers here, which increases competitiveness and increases prices, which benefits the boats. More buyers means better prices, means more fish.
The range of industries and activities that human beings are involved in is huge, and sometimes these activities are in conflict with each other. In Pembrokeshire, people need a mixed economy. They need oil, fishing and tourism. And so, while the relationships between these coastal neighbours may at times be difficult, they need each other, and they have to find ways of living side by side.
Viewers might like to know that due to the Queen's Golden Jubilee, schools' programmes will not be transmitting between the 3rd and the 7th of June. For more information, go to BBCi at bbc.co.uk/schools/what's-on.
To celebrate the Jubilee, the BBC brings you one incredible classical music concert live from the gardens of Buckingham Palace. Starring Angela Gheorghiu, Roberto Alagna, Dame Kirita Karnawa, Mislav Rostropovich and Thomas Allen. Prom at the Palace, Saturday the 1st of June, 8:10 on BBC One.
Now on BBC Two, Working Lunch with Adrian Charles and Adam Shaw.
Jolly good afternoon, welcome to Working Lunch. I'm Adrian Charles. The directors of Equitable Life are facing flack from disgruntled members. We'll be hearing from the AGM.
On the markets, Unilever, the firm that makes fish fingers and Hellmann's mayonnaise, has signed the biggest advertising deal in British history. And Punch, that's the pubs group, is toasting its stock market debut.
Mortgages?
There's a call for more mortgage rates to be fixed for the full term of the loan in order to get stability in the housing market.
And coming up too, learn to dance in your boss's time.
It's all true. We came along to the Land Rover plant at Solihull to find out how things have changed over the years. You'd be amazed at what we found.
And some of your golden wonders.
Noel and Jerry here were married back in 1952. They're going to tell us what it was like then, and a few home truths about the way we live now.
The directors of Equitable Life are facing the wrath of members today. It's the Mutual's first AGM since its deal to end its £1 billion liability over pension policies with guaranteed returns. Members have criticised the Equitable's directors for using future profit expectations to boost its financial position by £500 million. Earlier we spoke to members as they arrived for the meeting and they weren't happy.
Today is absolutely crucial to us all. What we want is stability, we want certainty from our society, and we really haven't got that at the moment.
This is a petition that's been signed extraordinarily by 20,000 policyholders in 2 weeks, asking Vannie Treves to immediately address our archaic constitution and governance.
They're very inventive about their accounts and how they could possibly, for example, look ahead and choose about 500 million that they may make and add it to the figures to give everybody the impression, like me, that they're stronger than what they are. It's just unbelievable. So much so that I want to come and listen to it myself today.
It's the members. This is the boss of the Equitable, Vannie Treves.
The society was in intensive care. We are now in a nursing home. We occasionally go for walks and we smile. That's a much better position to be in than we were a year ago. I am confident that in future we will do even better.
The meeting kicked off more than an hour ago. Russell Hayes is there. There was a very neat, or tortured, if you like, extended metaphor there from the boss. How's that kind of talk going to go down there?
Well, it's very interesting. I mean, you know, people are very upset about this in this building behind me, Adrian, as you can imagine. These are people's retirements and lives at stake, and in some case they're being shattered by what's happened. So we've got a lot of release of steam here as they get a chance to question the executives, but it's very measured release of steam because so far the sorts of people that we've had asking questions have been very well versed in the functions of a pension. So that it's a very genteel occasion, but nevertheless, the questions that keep coming back are you being honest? Were you using creative accounting to do this? Are our pensions secure? And that's a theme with pretty well every question. And Vanny Treves, as we heard in that clip there, is really going out of his way to say, look, whatever you've read in the press, whatever you've seen about alleged creative accounting, which he absolutely repudiates, the fact is that if we are, the measure of solvency is, do we have enough assets to pay our liabilities? Yes, we do. We are therefore solvent, and there is no danger in the near term of us not being solvent.
If there was one thing you'd pick out as the members being most angry about, what would it be?
Well, I think it would be that, really. I think allied to that, Adrian, people don't feel that society has been honest with them. One member said it's been a year of obfuscation and spin. When does it stop and when do we get a proper answer? And allied to that, I mean, others were saying, look, you know, this was creative accounting. You weren't actually being honest with us. You were trying to make things look better than they were. And Vanny Treves, the chairman, said, I repute absolutely the allegations that we use creative accounting. The accounts were signed off by the auditors. There were then shouts of Enron, Enron from the back of the hall with people applauding. So people really don't feel that the society is being straight with them. When you bear in mind that the chairman and chief executive are possibly going to get something like £500 million in bonus payments, that really just adds salt into the wound.
Can anything change as a result of this AGM?
Well, I think that certainly the chairman, chief executive and the board are getting the message of members that they really ought not to be seen to be, I mean, they repudiate that they have, but ought not to be seen to be using any sort of financial trickery over this. There is that, of course, that petition saying that they need to reform the structure so that it's easier for members to hold them to account. And interesting, the petition itself is an example of how difficult it is. If they'd actually wanted to get a change, they would have had to have 20,000 signatures in several weeks before the meeting, which they couldn't manage. So I think that the board is getting the message, look, play straight with us, keep us properly informed.
Okay, Russell Hayes, thanks very much. Russell Hayes at the Equitable Life AGM. The other business news, up to 450 jobs are to go at the NEC computer plant in Livingston. The company says it's closing the factory to cut costs and will move production to China. It's the final blow for the Livingston plant, which shed nearly 2,000 jobs last year. NEC says it lost nearly £2 billion in the last financial year because of a slump in the market for personal computers. Gerald Ratner is getting back into the jewellery business. Mr. Ratner, you'll remember, was famous for building a multi-million-pound jewellery empire business and then rubbishing the quality of his own products. The company lost millions in sales and £500 million was wiped off its share value. His new venture will be an online jewellery business. And a fifth of workers don't bother to eat lunch, and women are more likely to skip lunch than men. This is according to fascinating research by Findus. A quarter of workers spend more than £3 on lunch each day. That's £750 a year. The markets, Adam.
Well, share prices have been moving up this morning, not a huge move. Vodafone report their results tomorrow. They're already in the news. That's because there's growing pressure on the company to write off a large portion of their assets to reflect a downturn in the market. A bit of technical mumbo-jumbo. What it really means is they own a lot of things. The pressure is to reduce the value of those things in their annual report. If they do that, it would cut their profits. The pressure is there because the argument is, well, the whole telecom sector has gone down, so there is less value out there. We'll have to see what actually happens, but we'll know tomorrow. Got to tell you, though, the share price hasn't been doing well recently. Vodafone shares were £1.80 at the start of January. Where are they now? £1.14 now, so up a penny, but way down even where they started this year. Here's a brief look at some of the more widely held shares. And you can see certainly a predominance of shares rising. BAA down half a penny, BT down 6, GlaxoSmithKline down 19, ICI down 7, Scottish Power down 3.5, and Tesco's down 3 pence. I hope you managed to grab your favourite there. Now, GWR, they own a radio station called Classic FM. They reported full-year pre-tax, pre-exceptional profits of £7.68 million. It's a big drop. It is a 62% fall on last year. Final dividend is 3.5 pence. That fall is largely due to a big fall in the advertising revenues, which we've talked about a lot recently. Now, they say that they've seen some growth in those revenues this month, but they're not sure whether that's down to a one-off World Cup factor or is a result of some more lasting confidence. GWR shares, actually, despite all that news, up over 7.5%. City, obviously, was expecting even worse or fearing even worse. Unilever, as I said a few moments ago, it signed the biggest advertising deal in British history, a 4-year, £320 million deal with Carlton Communications and Granada shares. Bizarrely, Unilever is up, and the people he's paying the money to, Carlton Granada, are actually down. But that's the way the market's going, down around, or about 0.5% there, and a 1% move on Carlton Communications. Wolverhampton and Dudley Breweries, I think it's our biggest regional brewer. They reported half-yearly pre-tax profits of £31.3 million, up about 2% on last year. Interim dividend 9.9 pence. The company also announced it's decided to return £50 million to shareholders. It will do that by offering them cash for their shares. If you are a Wolverhampton and Dudley shareholder, expect a letter in the post sometime soon. Their shares, though, unchanged, 702.5. Black's Leisure, they reported full-year pre-tax profits of £12.4 million. That's a drop of 14% on last year. Final dividend 4.25 pence. Black's Leisure shares, they're now trading at up 4% at 254, so a good performance there. Punch will start trading today. It now stands at 247, no change because it is its first day of formal trading, but I believe I remember them being originally sold at 230, so from their flotation price we are seeing a rise. MMO2 doing well, Cable and Wireless doing well as well, so some strength in that telecom sector. And Shire Pharmaceuticals not doing well, worst performing FTSE 100 share of the morning. Brokers downgrading might have been behind that, seeing them down 3%. FTSE 100 index, it wasn't doing very much earlier. It was slightly up, and it's still slightly up. 1 point doesn't even register as a percent move. And as I speak, it tells you it's doing even less. Now, if you can contain yourself, it's the Jubilee Bank holiday this Monday and Tuesday, and we're heading into the summer, so it's worth looking at what you'll get for your pound. I've got to tell you, the pound's been getting weaker. You get the following: 44.85 Czech krona, 1.5225 Swiss francs, 1.4120 US dollars. Let's have a look at the euro if we can. No, was there no euro there? No euro there. But what we try to do also is get you some of the better deals from the better known places. This is what £100 gets you. From Travelex, it gets you 140 euros. From Thomas Cook, it gets you 146 euros. From Marks and Spencer's, 153, and Post Office, 151. So actually, from some of the biggest names, the Marks and Spencer's offering the best deal. Not an exhaustive survey, I can tell you, but interesting nonetheless. It does show you that, as Gillian always says, pays to shop around.
She'll be saying exactly the same shortly, I expect. Mortgages, to fix or not to fix. You may consider fixing your mortgage for 3 or 5 years, but the Royal Institution of Chartered Surveyors is today calling for Britain to adopt European-style mortgages with interest rates fixed for the full term, the whole 25 years or whatever. What's their logic in asking for this?
Well, their main point is that in Europe there's a huge amount of stability in the housing market, and in this country, as we know, there is tremendous volatility. Prices go up, prices go down, although they haven't been going down very recently. And there's much less boom and bust on the continent, and I think one of the reasons is this. The other thing is that from an individual's point of view, it gives far more stability for them too. They know exactly what their outgoings are going to be for the full period of the 25 years. Therefore, it's much easier to budget, because if you have a variable rate, it's quite conceivable that over the period of the 25 years, your mortgage payments will double, may triple. I mean, what I've done is looked at base rates over 25 years, just going backwards, and had a look at what those were. Let's take a look at those. Now, I emphasize these are base rates and they're not mortgage rates, but as we know, mortgage rates track base rates more or less towards 1 to 2%. They're fairly close to them. And look at that. I mean, at the moment, as we know, base rates are 4% and mortgage rates are at around the 5% mark. But look, I mean, 16% hasn't been rare, 14% hasn't been rare. And so had you fixed over the 25-year period somewhere in the middle of this, it may have given you an enormous amount of peace of mind, and you could have sniggered while your neighbours were paying those huge rates, variable rates, and you were on a fixed rate. But obviously it all comes down to how much you fix that. At the end
Does anybody
of the day.
want one of these things?
Well, some people must want them because there are a couple of them out there. We've scoured the market today, and there were two. Let me show you the two that there were. Oh, wait, let me talk to you first about the variable rates, because what this will then lead up to is that the rates that are out there for long fixed rates are not so advantageous. Variable rates are the most advantageous in the marketplace. So here you are, 3.7, 3.84 and 3.89. I mean, these are phenomenally low rates, and we've just seen the base rates being 4%. These are below 4%.
But these are discounted rates,
But
aren't
these
they?
are discounted rates, and the discount only lasts for a couple of years. So if you wanted to go for the absolute cheapest, don't fix, go for a discounted rate. If we look at fixed rates, let's carry on then and see, there we are, there are those 25-year fixed rates, and it's worth saying that they are considerably higher than the variable rates we were looking at. And so to get that stability at the moment, you are forfeiting potentially 3% interest.
On the other hand, you're laughing if those variable rates shoot upwards to 8 or 9% in 4 or 5 years' time.
Which is not inconceivable given what has happened in the past. It depends really, doesn't it, on whether we believe Gordon Brown that it is the end of boom and bust, or whether we don't. But worth bearing in mind again that, you know, if we go into the euro, what's likely to happen is that interest rates will come down rather than go up. But fundamentally, the reason we could only find 2 of these in the marketplace is that not very many people want them, as Paula John told us.
Put quite simply, there's no demand for 25-year fixed rates in this country. People don't want to commit for that length of time. They want to keep their options open and see what happens to the market, what happens to interest rates. So people are going for shorter, usually 2- and 5-year fixed rates. That's a very good idea. They give you security, they give you peace of mind. But also, the longer-term 25-year fixed rates are not going to be nearly as attractive looking as the shorter fixed rates, because long-term interest rates are much higher than short-term interest rates.
I mean, this was one key part of what they were saying in this report, the RICS survey, which is really a thought piece about how to get more stability into the housing market, how to make it a much better marketplace, because it doesn't work fundamentally very well at the moment. And what they're saying is that it's very low down on the political agenda. Every time that house prices go up, yes, it gets headlines, but there are far more factors to the housing market than simply house prices going up. And so one element they were talking about, for example, is the private rented sector. And they're saying, again, compared to Europe, they're saying, let's lift our heads above the parapet and let's look at how things are done in other countries, in Europe, in America, in Canada, and so on. The private rented market is 11% of the housing stock here. In continental Europe, it's much, much higher than that. In the US, it's much higher than that as well. And what they're saying is that it's so low, people would like to rent, but they can't rent. The properties aren't out there at the moment. And the reason is that landlords are in there for the short term rather than for the long term. What they're saying is that landlords, I like their phrase, they said they're traders rather than investors. Most landlords typically are small guys who go in. The typical portfolio is apparently 7 properties, so people are not doing this on a big scale, professional level. They go in, they buy their 7 properties, they do them up, they sell them off after 2 years. So again, that doesn't encourage stability. So what they want is different tax treatment and more priority given to the rental market, so that large companies will come in, will buy 100 properties, will hold on to them, and not just have these 7 properties which are bought, sold and traded on.
Gillian, thanks. A quarter of us lack the skills we need to do our jobs properly, as regular viewers to the show will know, and 12 million of us failed to receive any workplace training at all last year. This from the research company Mori. But it's not all doom and gloom. Rob's with a company that's not only providing job training, it's also paying its workers to take up pottery, amongst other things. Rob?
Yeah, amongst many other things actually. There's a very different picture here to that survey, because this is a company that insists that all of its workers get at least 1 day's training every year. This is the Land Rover plant in Solihull, and it was recently taken over by Ford. They put a big emphasis on training. In fact, they've even got a scheme whereby workers can apply for a grant as long as the training is nothing to do with their job. Now, it's led to a big change in culture and some very unusual skills amongst the workforce. 2 years ago, Ford took over one of the most famous motoring names in the world, but it knew then it was looking at a big bill to improve it. Since then, more than £300 million has been spent on new processes and equipment, but much of the emphasis has gone on boosting staff morale, including a new programme which allows employees to take training courses of up to £100 as long as it has nothing to do with their job, and stand by for one of the strangest things you'll ever see on a factory floor. So I gather you've got quite an unusual hobby. What's yours then?
At the moment we're doing flamenco, myself and the wife. We've been doing it now for about 9 months, and it's a very good exercise. I recommend it to anybody, and pluck the courage up, have a go.
Now, you've mentioned flamenco dance, and I've got to ask you, can you give us a demonstration? Go on.
I could do a few moves for you, perhaps.
Go on, take it away.
My instructors may take me, but if you want me to do a move, for you, it's up to you. Yeah. Okay. I don't know about the lads behind us.
I'll stand so they can't see you. Just ignore them. And it's not just the flamenco dancers who've noticed a change in emphasis.
I think it's the way the Ford have actually embraced the workforce themselves instead of looking at them as a commodity. You know, the way we've sort of pushed us forward for the courses, and the way they care about their associates.
It hasn't all been good news though. Around 1,500 jobs have been lost through voluntary redundancies. But Ford has serious plans for this plant, aiming to boost production from 170,000 vehicles a year to 275,000. It doesn't envisage creating any more jobs to do that, and so a happy workforce will be vital. Will they do it? Well, Bob Dover is Managing Director here at Land Rover. Now, Bob, why are you so keen on training? I mean, you spend a lot of money on things that don't obviously benefit your business.
World class in terms of our product. We've got to be world class in terms of our workforce. So yes, everyone gets training, and that includes me too. We try and give people at least 2 or 3 days off the site every year to improve their skills and to keep up with things that are going on. And I think it shows also how much we respect our workforce, because we want to. We want them to feel comfortable and part of a great company.
And what do you get from someone learning flamenco dancing?
Probably directly very little, because he isn't going to teach me, because I don't want to know. I'm happy to watch it. But no, a sense of respect, a sense of fulfillment, doing something they've always wanted to do, I think is just great. And something they can feel proud that the company supported them.
Now, it's 2 years since Ford took over this plant. Where do you see it going? How things, first of all, let's just find out how things gone in those 2 years.
It's been interesting, but right now we're looking at a record year for Land Rover sales. We've just launched this car behind, Range Rover worldwide. We're still rolling it out. It goes to North America this month. New Freelander going to North America as well. So we'll have a record year. That'll be driven by North American growth, so things are looking very exciting.
But interesting, it's usually managing directors speak for difficult. Has it been hard?
It's been hard, but we've had great collaboration with the team here. We've put a lot of money into the site. We've put 200 million, you're looking at that behind me now, in terms of the factory. 2.5 billion is coming our way in terms of spend for new models, so an enormous amount we think we can do with the commitment and the skills that are here.
Now, when Ford took over companies like this, like Jaguar, which you're also head of, there was a feeling that they couldn't handle that kind of top end of the market.
Yes.
Is this investment a way of saying, yes, this is how we do it?
No, I think the Jaguar experience proved everybody wrong, and Jaguar has gone from a tiny company with not so good quality to a big company with great quality, and it's example, I think, to all of the industry here in the UK, and certainly a model that we can use here at Land Rover.
So what are your plans for this plant then? Where's it going to go?
Bigger, better, but more productive, with a better train and a comfortable workforce.
And where are the markets? I mean, who's going to be buying Land Rovers?
We sell in 142 countries around the world. I mean, this is probably one of the most complex vehicles on the planet, and we'll continue to do that. But the growth is really the US, Canada, Mexico, then the UK, and then the European countries. So we're everywhere, and we want to be everywhere.
But I mentioned in my report that you're going to have 100,000 extra vehicles with pretty much the same workforce, in fact smaller than the old workforce.
Yes.
I mean, how do you manage to do that, really?
Well, with automation. Behind us you can see the automation that helps marry the chassis to the body on the new Range Rover, with a lot of investment in computer tools and computer software as well, a lot of lifting equipment so that people don't have to bend and carry and lift and move, just making the place more effective and making it to world-class standards.
And of course, Land Rover for a while was dogged by problems of quality standards. Well, how did you address them?
We've got some very good processes to help us improve quality, and we've deployed them all. We're very proud of what we're doing here in terms of improving the quality and looking after the customer.
Do you think you've conquered those problems?
No, I think quality is a journey, and we'll keep going and we'll keep getting better, but the level we're at now is very competitive.
Okay, Bob, thanks very much, and you will have a highly educated and very talented workforce on the way, so good luck with it. It's back to you now.
Very much. The Jubilee is approaching. With that in mind, we asked you for your memories of 1952. Loads of you have responded. Simon's met one couple having their own golden celebrations this year.
1952, the age of steam still, and of post-war shortages. Everyone keen to save a little money. Luxuries like oranges and bananas were seldom seen. But things were changing. Wartime ID cards were abolished, and some rationing of tea, for instance, was stopped. In this world of doing without, Jerry and Noel embarked on their life together. Arriving independently from Ireland, they were married in '52 in Luton.
At that time, I don't know what Jerry was on at that time.
I was £12 a week.
£12, and I was on £3, 7 and 6 a week. Yeah.
6-day week.
Oh my goodness, there it is. Noel has, of course, kept her wedding dress, bought for £7. Right, and then there was the wedding to pay for on top of that.
The whole lot. The bill for the whole lot of flowers and the hire of the hall and the meal and the 3-tiered cake and the cars. The whole lot was £25.
So we have a wedding dress which cost £7, a wedding which was £25 on top of that, wages of £3 and £12 a week, and a house they moved into which cost £1,750. But how do those prices really compare with what you'd pay nowadays? Let's have a look. Starting with the dress then, that's the equivalent now of £125, although the average spend on a wedding dress today is said to be £900. The wedding itself, £25, that's £446 in today's money, but again we spend more. £12,000 is a common figure for how much people spend on the celebrations now. Jerry's 1952 wages of £12 a week as a travelling salesman, more than most people earned then, translate into £214 now, but the average wage these days is £490 a week. Finally, the house, £1,750 then. Adjusting for inflation, that's £31,200, but the average price of a house now is £121,000. So we have more to spend, and more to spend it on. In an age when the building effort was going into council homes, Noel and Jerry were the exception, managing to buy a new house of their own. Then, as Britain got back on its feet, they moved on to a more comfortable life, training as pub managers with Whitbread, earning themselves a pension. But they still think people today don't realise how lucky they are.
You know, we've seen when you save all year for one holiday, you know, and in the end, we ended up with having 2 holidays abroad a year. You know, that's a big difference, isn't it?
But do you feel that you were hard up at that time?
No, well, we never thought about it.
No, you didn't.
Didn't
That
think
was
about
it. You had so much money and at the end of the week you were broke, finished, kaput.
Now, the completion of 50 golden years of marriage is a good excuse for going through the wedding day telegrams once again. The start of Noel and Jerry's journey from a time of rationing to a time of plenty.
Be more Jubilee memories on the programme tomorrow, and there are even more on our website, www.bbc.co.uk/working lunch. Check them out, they're lovely. A couple here. Pete Farrell's been in touch with us. He was 18 in 1952, earning £5 a week. Then he was called up to the National Service in the RAF. Imagine my reaction when I picked up my first week's pay, £1 and 8 shillings, only £1.40. I liked it so much, I eventually served for 22 years, he said. Also Katharina from Greater Manchester, that was my grand's name, funnily enough, wrote to say she arrived in England in 1952 from East Berlin. She came to join her father, who'd been a prisoner of war in the UK, and decided to stay on afterwards. She says the language was difficult, but she had help from her pen pal, who later became her husband. It's all good stuff. Do check our website out on that one. Last word from Rob now about what he's up to the rest of the week. Rob?
Well, we're in the Midlands all week, and tomorrow we're going to take a look at what firms are doing during the World Cup at a lorry firm in Coventry that's laying on big screens in the boardroom for all its workers, rerouting some of the routes for the lorry drivers so they can watch some of the games and make sure everyone gets to a screen. It's a great idea. I hope my boss is watching this bit, actually. On Friday, we're looking at royal warrants, how you get them, and we're off to Walsall to see the company that actually makes the handbags for the Queen. That leaves a little gap on Wednesday and Thursday. Now, we do have a few ideas that we're kind of kicking around, but we are open to suggestions. Anything in the West Midlands, we'd be very pleased to hear from you. If you've got a story that you think we should cover, get in touch. We'll have some of the details at the end of the programme.
don't forget the useful numbers, addresses, etc. we mentioned on the programme. You'll find them on our CFAX page. That's BBC2 CFAX page 238. On consuming issues this week, it's benefits, and the number to call us on is 020 8740 4724. You can write to us at Working Lunch, room 4220, BBC TV Centre, London W12 7RJ, or you can fax us on 020 8576 8799. You can email us at working.lunch@bbc.co.uk. Pete, from whom we heard a little bit earlier, who joined the RAF in 1952. Just going back to his Jubilee memories, he said it was 8 to the bar, the joint was jumping, and it was solid Jackson, Joe Loss and a band, and West Brom had a football team. He said he was wearing brothel keepers, and he says, remember this. It's a good thought on which to finish today. He said, it ain't no sin to take off your skin and dance about in your bones, and they don't write them like that anymore. He says, Pete, you're absolutely dead right. Join us tomorrow. Bye for now.
This mad...
Footage never seen before.
She was great fun, amusing, imaginative.
Bringing back the memories.
Couldn't believe we were going to meet the actual Queen. It was like, wow.
Meet the amateur filmmakers who got close to Elizabeth.
Thousands of people in there. It was buzzing with excitement.
And captured the moments that brought a nation together.
The mood was one of great elation and joy.
The People's Queen, Wednesday at 9 on BBC One.
This is BBC Two.
Hello, you're watching CBeebies on 2, and now it's time for another adventure with Brum.
It's a basketball. To be a match. There's the mayoress with the cup. And here comes the teams. Yellows and blues. What a referee! That's cheating. They're cheating again, Brum. Again! 6-2. Time out. What are they up to? What's he doing? He's sticking them to the floor. They can't move. What are you going to do, Brum? Now it's up to you and your friend. Hooray! 6-4! You're catching up! Come on, you yellows! Yes, goal!
The British Broadcasting Chat Show Standards Commission has upheld a complaint from Stephen Fry, Barbara Windsor, Richard and Judy and Martin Kemp of unjust or unfair treatment in their forthcoming appearances as guests of the Kumars at number 42. The Commission took the view that the constant barrage of interruptions, canapes mid-interview, irrelevant inquiries and misuse of situations for personal gain was shaping guests to disclose a hitherto unforeseen version of themselves. The complaint was upheld, and it is with apprehension that we inform you the new series of the Kumars at number 42 starts tonight at 9 on BBC Two.
This mad, wicked folly of women's rights.
We shall defend our island. We shall never surrender.
300 years of change. Simon Sharma's History of Britain, the final chapter, starts tomorrow at 9 on BBC Two and the web.
And Simon Sharma, writer and presenter of A History of Britain, joins Brian Alexander from 9 tomorrow morning on 909 and 693 AM, BBC Radio 5 Live. Breeding on the beach here on BBC Two now, with the Blubber Lovers.
The Normandy beach landings, a story etched into the minds of generations.
Every man in my boat was killed.
But why did most of the 741st Tank Battalion fail to make it to Omaha Beach?
35 tons just sank in a hurry.
For the first time ever, new scientific findings reveal what really happened.
But we could have made a big difference there if we'd got those 27 tanks in. We could have saved a lot of men.
D-Day, The Untold Story, Thursday from 9 on BBC Two.
What is the point of you being here, eh? You're never straight with me. I've had enough.
Oh, look, you've crashed.
Search the World Wide Web with BBC I's new search engine. BBC I, the search is over.
Flog It, the new show where selling your antiques at auction could make you a small fortune. Dust it down, price it up, and Flog It starts today at 3:30 on BBC Two. We're taking a cruise now on BBC Two to find a partner. Rich girl Jane Russell has exactly that in mind. Musical comedy with the French Line.